right, welcome folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. This is going to be your sit rep for Monday. It is April 11th, 2022. And without further ado, let's hop on over to the board. Now we're going to kick off in Skyglass today. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and bell for notification. And remember, if you want to support the channel, you can always become members on YouTube or over on Patreon. And it is always much appreciated. So today, we're actually going to start looking, we're just going to show you the NAs here to start off. Just want to show you that activity, what's going on in Europe relative to folks that are kind of masked and don't want to be seen. Now, there are currently, and we're going to look over at ADSB exchange here in just a minute to show you. We do have those four Y-20 Chinese birds actually exiting Serbia right now. So we'll be taking a look at those and talking a little bit more about that because that does change the dynamics of the arena big time. Okay. So, but this is going to be Europe in terms of the activity for NAs. All right. Just kind of show you what's going on. Again, these are folks that don't really want to be seen. So they just throw that up there if, without having any kind of other data points behind them, right? So most of them don't show where they're going or anything. So let me see if I can get one that bounces me over to the US, and then we'll take a quick look at those NAs. And then I'm going to show you what else is going on. But I want to point out the fact, now you're going to see there's some scattered NAs up here, just kind of around the US, a little bit of activity here on the Southern California side. But for the most part, as we've been watching now for a couple weeks, the NAs have actually been East Coast centric, and I don't know why, other than they just don't want to be seen in the area. Now this is like just one big hot mess right here. So could be tied to Pax River and some training flights. I know that is the case here, probably in this general area of the Panhandle, and that may be Pax River related. So. But anyway, I just want to point that out as a data point, okay? All right, now let's look at, just want to show you, take a look at our watch list. And for those that are over on Discord, I did load that this watch list in there for you. All you got to do if you're on Skyglass is basically copy and paste it and drop it into your watch list here on Skyglass. So, all right, so let's take a look at what we've got here in Europe. You can see on our watch list, got a lot of, there's some B-52s doing some routes, kind of off there to the left, and then our R-135s are up doing some work again. There's your Q4. Now we'll look a little closer at these aircraft real fast because I want to show you some of the activity that took place over the weekend after the Chinese arrived in Serbia. And so but yeah, this is kind of our normal aircraft that we see. Now that one right there is actually just a little citation that's actually running somebody back and forth right up to the border. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that one, but we've been tracking it for a little while. Again, B-52, you can see it right there on the corner of our screen as we hit this list. And we'll get over here to the US now and just kind of show you what's going on. Now we've got an E6 that's currently up. You can see that at the very top of the picture there, but mainly what I do want to show you is the fact that we've got, you can see the NAs. Those are your intelligence balloons, all right? And that one's at 90,000 feet. So that is up there, and that's over Florida, the Panhandle of Florida. And then these P8s, you got one out over the Gulf. Don't see that too often. And a couple more look like they're doing some touch and goes, taking off out of Jacksonville Naval Air Station, and I have no idea why I am tracking these C-17s. I'll take them off my watch list, although one of them is actually a British bird there coming out of Tampa. So, but there is that one. Now, and of course, there's our E6. We were just talking about that. Headed, it looks to be, it went north, and then now it's headed eastbound. All right, and then we get over here to our heavy lifts. And you can see very light for a Monday. Look to be just getting started. A lot of it coming out of the Florida area right now. Now, remember, Patrick Air Force Base got a bunch of Spec Ops dudes running stuff out of there. And so we don't really see those flights very often, but they are on ground. We know that. And then, of course, you can see just the flurry of them taking off out of that general area. Now, let's get over to the European side. and just kind of shrink that up for you so we can actually look at this little spaghetti chart going. But you can see they're kind of spread out everywhere. Not too much headed north today, but they are. Looks like these are in replen mode. We do have some interesting new headlines we need to pay attention to, because those are going to show you what is going on and what we should be expecting here in the near future with the NATO movement. And I imagine that's going to be highly supported by the United States, and I'll show you why here in a minute as well. But that's going to be your heavy lifts across Europe. And then we get over here to the U.S. in terms of tankers. A very light day at the moment. Now, it may increase as the day goes on, but we're still kind of early in the day. But you can see right over Delaware, that's going to be your air refueling. That means you got fighters up over Flashbang at his residence. And so, but that's a little call sign, nice 20. Again, you can see it's right over Delaware. And that's going to be your fighter activity here in the U.S. for this morning. So, all right, now back over here to Skyglass. We're going to minimize this and start getting into the meat of everything. Now, just to show you on the calendar for today, Flashbang is he's coming back from Newcastle. Going to arrive at the White House here. He's probably already there, to be honest with you. This is that was an add-on there. I don't know what's up with that, but find it interesting. Just remember, India is undergoing right now some serious food shortages, and their economy is in the toilet. So they're probably over here asking for a handout, if I had to guess. Okay. Now, here's the other piece, too, just to show you. They are on the move for our guns again. And so, remember, in order to implement their plan, they're going to have to disarm all of us, because it will be ugly for sure if they start to try and execute that plan, at least in the United States at the moment, right? Because we are some gun-toting, patriotic people, all right? So that's going to be Flashbangs. Like I said, one big dumpster fire. Let's get over here real fast to just show you, speaking of insanity, look at the amount of volcanoes blowing ash this morning. This is insane. There are 6 between here. That's going to be Central America all the way down to South America. And then we've got this one here, Yasur. I don't know anything about that one. Dacono, that's a big one. This, whatever, Jima. And then we got this one up here in, so that's 10 volcanoes spewing ash right now. That is actually very high. 11 is as high as I've seen. This ash right here is from this Russian volcano, just to point that out. Now, it was over Alaska, but that just goes to show you that bad dude is headed to the East Coast, or sorry, West Coast. Oh, yeah, East, West, whatever. I feel like I had a stroke. My hat's too tight today, man. All right, so, but anyway, that's an ash cloud, and that's basically letting for pilots know that, hey, there's ash in the region. But just think about that. If that were to spew ongoing for a period of time, that's going to cover United States. You know, we always talk about Yellowstone, but that right there that'll put a hurting on your lungs for sure. I mean, that's little fine grains of glass, and it gets in your lungs. You can't get it out, and it is a slow, painful death. All right, it's like pneumonia. All right, so that is going to be our volcanic activity. Now, to the meat of this, let's back up before I talk about this one. I do want to show you, this is the activity that started taking place over the weekend. These are going to be your Chinese Y-20s. And then when I showed you that picture, these bad dudes look a lot like our C-17s, don't they? Because they stole our technology, or somebody gave it to them, and they built it on their own, threw their own engines on there with a couple slight modifications. But other than that, that bad mamma jamma is a C-17, and it is copied from us like they always do. That's because somebody basically gave them our stuff. Happens all the time. So, yeah, this right here, this NA, this, you can see that's your Y-20A. That's the first one that was coming inbound. Now, this happened late Friday evening, early Saturday morning, UTC time. But you can see they were coming inbound. There were 4 of them. And I've actually added them to my watch list, but I'm not able to track them for some reason through Skyglass, but I can see them on ADSB Exchange right now. So don't know why that is. It happens from time to time where you get one on one and not the other. That's why we use multiple apps. But you can see just to the right of Belgrade, and they were delivering. As you kind of watch through that, let me just show you some more of that activity. They didn't just go once. This is multiple trips. Now, the interesting thing is that they disappeared when they got over Turkey. So I don't know if they turned off transponders or what they did, but their altitude line, they may be landing and servicing out of Turkey, but we're not seeing it, okay? So this would just kind of give you a little bit of information. Now, this is a little concerning part, is they flew just to the south of this, which is a military base in Bucharest. And all these no call signs, I'm pretty confident these are U.S. military aircraft on ground. But the Chinese flew right past them. So that is not good, because it just goes to show you them being in the region. Now, this is what I was talking about. They basically delivered these surface-to-air missile systems that are probably their latest and greatest into Serbia, which that changes the dynamics of all of this, because when you look at the relationship of Serbia to all of the other locations where the U.S. is putting up shop, that's not good, okay? And I'll show you here in just a minute, but this is what they did. Again, just like our C-17, that is stolen technology is what that is. And then they basically replicated it. They did the same thing with the F-35 nose. They do that with just about everything. You can actually go look at the Russian and the Chinese aircraft and line them right up against ours and see that there are a lot of similarities. And there's a reason for that. It has to do with somebody leaving a laptop in the middle of a country and giving people access to our data, pay to play, right? We talked about that in the past, and that's one of the reasons why we're in the situation we're in today, okay? All right, over here to ADSB Exchange. And you can see these are two of the Y-20s exfilling out of Serbia. This is the other two. One is just taking off, climbing out, and then this one here looks to be also climbing. So actually, there's 5 of them. So here's another one right here. So you got 5 Chinese birds leaving the region. They were in over the weekend, probably unloading all of this stuff. But what they were bringing in, so you guys know, were these right here, the HQ-22 long-range air defense missile systems. And that changes the dynamics of the battlefield very quickly. And now, let me show you what took place over the weekend. As we were looking at that, this was on Sunday after these guys had landed. And I just want to show you, we quickly started flying some R-135s in the area, and I'll show you the range that these guys have. But there's Serbia right there, and you can see the R-135 was right in that area, as well as the Q4, which was actually double stacked. Now remember that Q4's got a little more range. I will tell you the R-135 has a lot more range than I originally suspected. Now, if you're wondering what a Q4 is and an R-135, let me just kind of show you what these things look like. So this is an R-135. You notice that doghouse there right up under the nose, and then this is a Q4. That's an unmanned drone. It's a recon drone, and that bad dude has got some serious range, and it can gather just about anything and everything. It's pretty insane. But if you look at the capabilities, the RQ-4, R-135, if you can see them flying in that route, this is basically, in essence, how far out they are gathering data. And so you can see right there below where it says Crimea, it looks like a landmass, but that's actually water. That's going to be your Black Sea. So when they're in that region, they are grabbing data. You can see all the way into Russia. Very interesting. Like I said, high-tech, super duper stealthy. That Q4 can get up there. You could really, if they wanted to not be seen, they could do it. That thing is definitely got the coatings on it. I'm sure there are other missions that are flying that we don't know about, but that one we watch, that's that Forte 10, 11, whatever it may be. But yeah, very interesting. Now the RC-135 is not stealthy by any means. It's pretty bold. It gets into the area, but the range on that is a lot further than I expected. Like I said, this is what they look like. This is the one that's a little stealthier, depending on the coatings they put on it. But this one can track a soccer ball from 300 miles. So to give you kind of an idea of what they have capability-wise. And the reason they're so concerned, because when you drop these into the region, these are long-range air defense missile systems. which are not good to have. And then again, of course, if we look at the map, and you look at, let me back up just a little bit and show you the relationship of Serbia right here. Now, you've got Bosnia over here, Serbia. These are names a lot of us have heard. Kosovo, right? We've heard a lot of war stuff happening over the past couple decades. But Serbia, that is where they're dropping in. Now, this is Romania, and this is where they flew over, and this is where we've got that military base I was showing you in Bucharest, right? And we also fly in Bulgaria. We've got Sofia Air Base that we're flying in and out of. And look at this one right now, flying straight down over that general region. So on their way out, and they go, as they exfil into Turkey, and then they're free and clear once they get into there, really. But just to kind of show you, you got Romania. This is where we're all loading up Romania here, Slovakia, Hungary. This is where all the NATO guys are stacking, right? Poland up in here. So now you take a playing field where we had them kind of squared in. We knew Belarus was an enemy, and we knew Ukraine was the hot spot. And we've staged ourselves in forward operating bases and locations up against this, thinking, we had Italy and everything kind of clear to the south. And now these guys drop in right into the theater, and that changes the way we have to do business in terms of war preparation. Okay. Now, just to point this out, the headline here over on Forward Observer. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into this today, but I will tell you, if you get a chance to go read all the briefings that are out today on Forward Observer, it is very good. This is a lot of good data points today. So, now, Russia is actually warning about a direct confrontation. That is because we are pumping, we're feeding the horse, so to speak, the war horse, right? They know that, and they're getting a pretty torqued about it, right? And so as we continue to sit there and feed them with all the stuff to take out their equipment, pretty soon they're going to just consider us part of the war front, right? Here's one thing I did want to point out. I caught this. Notice again, remember we just had 40 migrants come up through the southern border, the same number, 40 migrants come through the southern border and disappear. And they got a special access, secret deal going, right, with between U.S. and Mexico, and we got them in, and then we're doing the same thing here. Look at this. At least 40 are believed. And I mean, we caught them. We just know about it. From Key West, or into Key West from Cuba, attempting to enter the U.S. while avoiding a port of entry. And so we're hearing a lot of this stuff now. I just find the number 40. Again, what are the odds that the same number came across, right? And so anyway, that is the main thing. And then, of course, Treasury expands sanctions on Russia. That seems to punch us right in the wallet every time we do it. So just hang on to your shorts, because this is not going to be good. But a lot of stuff going on. Now, this is the main thing right here, and Zero Hedge actually just put out an article on this as well. NATO is now planning a massive military buildup on Russia's border, citing a major reset. And so you can see they're already talking about the alliance currently has 40,000 troops in eastern member states. That's Poland. Those are those areas I just showed you. The Chinese are flying right over them. It looks like we should be looking for additional assets and resources to be flowing between the UK, between the US, all the other NATO countries. So I would expect to see in future SITREPs a very big uptick as this thing gets ready to go hot. Okay, but this is kind of funny. They're calling this a tripwire policy, that Moscow would be willing to kill American soldiers. They believe actually that they'd be unwilling, to kill American soldiers if they do this, right? So if they load up with a bunch of American troops, they think Russia will be like, yeah, we're not going to go all the way. We'll see. All right. Here is basically our stormtrooper chart. You can see all the pew-pews going on here. Looks like America is getting smacked. This is actually lighter than it was this morning, but that seems to be the latest attack. Intrusions are at 73.1 million, and then malware is at 17.1. Looks to be kind of the same in terms of origins and the people that are getting popped. The biggest attack targets right now are the U.S., UK, and India. So, and you can see it. We're getting lit up right now. So, There's that. And then let's get over here to the Black Sea, because this really shows the flow of goods in and out. This is Russia over here. This is Turkey down here. This is Istanbul. And you can see we've got just a continuous flow back and forth. That is oil in the red. So Russia is still continuing to get oil in and out, as well as the green are the cargo vessels. All right. So until that stops, you haven't cut off anything. So it looks like the sanctions aren't working too well, right? All right, Biggs Army Airfield. This one, I just want to point out, we get into it, nothing going on. I suspect we're going to see an uptick in this. We'll continue to watch it, but my belief is, based on the data that they are telling us relative to NATO, that this will start to increase again. All right, only one thing that did pop in over the weekend I thought was interesting, and it departed. It actually came in from San Antonio. That's one of our Phoenix birds right there, a little gray bird, right? That's an agency bird. It looked like it went into there from San Antonio and then up to Travis Air Force Base. Okay, McGuire, this is Dick's. Just want to show you, this is one of our immigrant transports. However, I will show you too. So it came in, arrived, coming in from Great Falls, and then it went down to Miami. Doesn't stop there though, and I'll show you when we get over to this. We actually have a flight that left here and went to, and it looks like they're taking some troops as well. So it looks like these guys are getting in on the business relative to troop transport. But this one, that's probably taking immigrants, more than likely, from Fort Dix down to Miami. All right. Okay. This is actually going to be Omni Express. They are very busy today. This is troop movements. Note, though, almost all of the movement today is in Asia. So they seem to be positioning assets right now. I don't know what's going on there, but they are pumping it into this area. Okay. So, again, that's troops, folks. All right. And we get over here. This is actually U.S. Transport Command, and this is the Camber flights. Just want to show you, got them rolling out of Dover, out of Ramstein into this general area. It looks to be Southern Europe, as well as maybe even this one headed into the Middle East. All right, as we watch. And then this one's just coming across the drink. And then here's your Royal Air Force, just to show you the amount of flights. This is insane, a lot. But there are a couple. MacDill, right there out of Tampa. That's one we were looking at this morning on the C-17s. But very, very busy again. Got some U.S.-oriented stuff. They could be helping with moving of assets, not necessarily troops, but equipment. And then this is actually all of the legwork here in Europe. So you can see quite a bit going on. They're very busy today. And the Camber flights are actually uptick compared to where they were on last week. We were really, really flat on all of it. Even Biggs Army Airfield was very, very slow. So there, as we look at it, this is Daruski's. Now this one right here is Putin. Just so you guys know, he actually flew somewhere today and is on the way back. I'll show you that flight in a second. And then this one looks to be headed down. Don't know where it's headed actually, but it's still airborne, and just an interesting data point. So it looks like it originated out of Koltsova, and then this one here out of Moscow. Okay, that's actually Putin that left Moscow and back. All right, this is the Putin flight, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce what that something is. But that looks like that's where he flew out of, and looks like he just took off. He's headed back to Moscow. So, but just a data point. Again, flew out here to that location and then is rolling back. So that is him on the move. We haven't seen him really go anywhere lately, but looks like he's on the move today. Okay, now we're just going to look at some of the heavy lift assets, because these guys are kind of an integral part in A, our supply chain, and B, helping the DoD move stuff. When you see the big birds moving like this, and that is a lot, this is actually going to be Atlas Air. And the reason you see so many Atlas Air flights up and flying is because the boat stuff is slowing everything down, supply chain issues. And so how you get around that is actually put stuff onto air, and you kind of, decompress that the issue you have with your supply chain slowness, right? And so the problem is when you do this, it jacks up your price on goods because it is very expensive. So good for a short-term fix, but if you're flying stuff everywhere you go, you're paying way too much money for it. So, but this is just kind of give you an idea. That's Atlas. Again, the largest 747 fleet in the world. And then this is Coletta Air. That's good old Connie. You can see, man, we are just, look at the amount of stuff coming in and out of China and Asia, a lot, all right? And that is same thing with Atlas, okay? So we talk about, not buying stuff from China, and we see how it's impacting our supply chain. But when you start getting into this, you can really see we are still buying a lot of stuff, and we're moving it by air because Shanghai and all the other ports are closed right now. So we're in here grabbing whatever we can. This is, it's a lot. Again, these guys will also move troops. So those could very well be troops, especially coming out of Alaska, but I don't have anything to confirm that, all right? Okay, this is Swift Air. These are going to be our boys that are flying our immigrants around in and out of the country. So we are either, like I said before, we're either exporting these folks or we're bringing in mercenaries, one or the other, because there is a lot of activity, even today for a Monday. That's very active, all right? The one I do want to point out is the fact that this one right here, you can see it is, it landed in, up here, real fast, sorry, in Iceland, and now it is actually leaving Iceland. So if I go back over to this, you can see that flight right here as it's actually departing, and it looks to be headed across the drink. Now that equipment is a 737-800, so that's probably carrying some troops over, all right? And but they have to stop here to get some gas, otherwise they can't make the trip, all right? So a little bit too far for that aircraft. I'm pretty sure that's an ETOPS aircraft, which means engines turn or people swim. But it's a rating that's given by the FAA, and that's probably old school. I think they call it something else now. But typically you have to have that rating in order to cross the water internationally like that. So that's really not, to my knowledge, an extended range aircraft. So that's why you're stopping here for fuel. And it looks like they are headed into Europe, a little high, little north for heading into England. So, okay. And we looked at that one, and now let's just take a quick gander. This is the World Airway flights, or World Atlantic Airlines, should I say. Just want to show you these guys are headed down into Central America, into, and obviously coming, both of them are operating out of McAllen. Now that, I'm fairly confident, are guys getting exported, okay? This is more than likely Marshal Service or Bureau of Prisons, and they're bringing people out of the country. These are probably bad people. They got across our border. That's the only ones that I can feel pretty confident about confirming that they are actually getting people out. The other ones, not so much. All right. Okay. Quick look at the TFRs just to show you what we got up and coming, and then we will be done here. Now, this is Flashbang up here, Senior Living Center, and that's going to be an air show down here. I don't know what this is in Jersey. Let me just double check. VIP TFR, I don't know who that is. That could be him. Don't see anything on his docket for that. And then this is for tomorrow. Somebody's headed to Des Moines, Iowa tomorrow, but that's VIP. Probably Flashbang, if I had to guess. I just haven't put it out there. We'll see it on his docket tomorrow. So, all right, listen, that's going to be it. Like I said, the Chinese enter in that area, and bringing in military assets is not good. I highly doubt it's troops going into there. Every report that I've gotten, it's just equipment that they've sold into Serbia, and they're just making the delivery. Looks to be quite a bit. All right. Now, I have heard rumors that they are bringing, there are tanks on rail coming through there, but I can't confirm that on any level, and so I'm not going to even try. This I can track. We're looking at the flights. I've read enough data and confirmed it that the to show that it is actually air defense stuff going in. So that's going to be it. Listen, keep your powder dry and stay frosty. We are in some very interesting times, and I don't believe things are going to be leveling out anytime soon. So that's it. You guys stay stay frosty, like I always say. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworxus.com.